Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we see the why second law of thermodynamics. Okay, before that you must go through all the previous video regarding the first law of thermodynamics. Then you can understood what is the need of why second law of thermodynamics. So first you go through the first law of thermodynamics. I already uploaded this video, the Joule's experiment, the sign conventions, that application for flow process, the non-flow process. Okay, then you go through this video. Okay, because the second law of thermodynamics puts a limitation on the energy transformation other than that imposed by the first law. What it means, the limitations on the energy transformation. Okay, before going to the why second law, first we understood the limitations, then we can understood the why second law. The first limitations, the no restriction on the direction of flow of heat. If you see, no restriction on the direction of flow, either process is happen in that particular direction or the reverse direction, there no light on that particular direction. The first law, no light on the what regarding the direction of heat flow, does not specify the feasibility of the reaction. The either process is feasible. Okay, so does not specify any feasibility. Okay, if we see this example one, a cup of hot coffee left in a cooler room eventually cools off. Okay, after some interval of time, that hot coffee becomes cools off. The reverse of this process, if you see the reverse of this process, coffee getting hotter as a result of heat transfer from cooler room does not take place. Okay, after some amount of time, it doesn't happen. That environmental surrounding heat, the surrounding heat that hot cup of tea. Okay, so it's never happen in practice. So that first law, there is transformation of energy, but up to what extent it can't explain. These are the first limitation. If you see the another example, if you see that the transforming heat to the wire will not generate electricity. If you see the example of in day to life, the electric coil you use to heat the water, okay, by supplying that electric work, we produces heat energy. Okay, but vice versa, it never happen when I applying heat. Okay, it can't produce electricity when I produce one across that wire. When I attach the one galvanometer or the voltmeter, it can't shows the voltage. Okay, and vice versa. So the electric work is converted into the heat energy. Okay, but that heat energy can't produce that electric work. Okay, so the law doesn't, we know that first law, heat and work are mutually convertible, but up to what? In that case, if we see, the work is converted to heat, but heat can't be completely converted, or such cases, if you take such examples here, highly impossible or highly irreversible process, that heat is not completely converted to the electric work. There are the many examples. If you see this kind of examples, okay, when I down or up and down this load or weight of certain interval of certain height, what happened? That shaft going to rotate, and that stirrer, and that increasing the heat in the chamber of that gas molecule. And in reverse direction, when I applying W, it produces Q. But in reverse direction, when I apply Q, it can't produce work, or that can't lift that load. Okay, so it again, I conclude in that case W is converted to heat, but again that is not reverse in direction. So this procedure follows in only one direction. The procedure not reversible, completely irreversible. So these are the some examples I put. Also we take the example of our braking system. When we apply the brake, when applying some mechanical linkages, we are applying mechanical work. What happened? That brake shoes generate heat, and we minimizing the speed of the car or the bike. And vice versa, when the brake shoes cools off, when brake shoes cools off, we observe that we can get the same speed, or a car or a bike accelerate again. It never happen. This is a completely irreversible process. So these are the some examples where they challenge the first law of thermodynamics, or some are the clauses which not fulfilled by this first law. Okay, the first law states that the when system undergoes cyclic process, okay, the W, the work done on the system is equal to the heat supplied. But up to what extent, in what direction, either process is feasible, these are the limitations. Okay, so these are the limitations overcome by the second law of the thermodynamics. Okay, so why second law now? The second law of thermodynamics help us to predict the whether the reaction is feasible or not. It tells the direction of the flow of heat. It also tells that energy can't be completely converted into equivalent work. Okay, before I am starting, we understood the now the concept of second law that gives the concept, no concept. Okay, I'm taking new slide. That second law tends to now new concept, that is the high grade energy, low grade energy. If we see, when I supplying, suppose take example of that same coil, electric coil. Okay, okay, across that, when we supplying the battery, that electric work is converted into heat energy, W electric. Okay, but we observe that in reverse direction, when I supplying Q, it can't produce current. Okay, so what did we observe, that the electric work is completely converted into heat, but heat is can't be completely into that again electric work. So I conclude that electric work or the any kind of work is always high grade energy. We convert, there is no any loss. But when you flow through that in reverse direction, but Q we can't be completely converted into the work again. Okay, we take another example. Suppose I'm going to heat this water through electric coils. So I supplying electric work here to heat this water. Okay, and some people going to heat the water with the help of burning of wood, coal or gas. Okay, to heat this water, what happen, what amount of energy supplied, that is electric work, what amount of electric work I going to that supplying that coil is 100% that energy supplying to that water. Okay, if you supplying that Q, in that case to heat the water I supplying heat. Okay, what you observe, that some amount of heat is lost via radiation. Okay, suppose if through via gas burner, some amount of heat is via losses via the conduction also. Okay, some heat is losses because of this temperature differences also. Okay, we can't supply the 100% heat to heat the water. So I conclude that work is high grade energy and the Q is low grade energy. Also different examples you also see in the further slides. Okay, what is this main second law of thermodynamics? Now we see the main. So the need of second law now you understood. So second law conclude or the give the idea regarding direction of process, conditions for equilibrium. Okay. Okay, the second law, if you see the second law of the thermodynamics, it identifies the direction of process used to determine quality of energy as well as quantity. If you see this first law, okay, it only tells regarding the transformation. It's told about always transformation and the quantity of energy. Quantity. If we see this second law, it told about, remember this keyword, told about the direction. Either the process is feasible or not. And the third statement of the second law is told me to give the idea regarding the energy has quantity as well as quality. Okay, the second law consists of the two statements, that is the first is the Kelvin-Planck statement, okay, and second one is the Clausius statement. In my further video I am going to explain detail this, that is the second law, Kelvin-Planck and Clausius statement. First we understood what is the need of second law. The second law gives the idea regarding the energy has a quality, energy has a quantity, energy has a direction, energy has either is process feasible or not. In second law, we're going to see next video what is the Kelvin-Planck statement and the Clausius statement. Now, hopes you understood what is the need of second law of thermodynamics. Thank you. Those students still not subscribing, please subscribe my channel. Thank you very